When I saw what I'm about to show you guys, I thought it was a joke and I thought he was trolling. I had to rewatch it 5 to 10 times so I could understand, okay, he's being serious. It's hard for me to describe it and put it into words. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like this for any head coach in any sport. South Carolina's offensive coordinator straight up humiliated and humbled Spencer Rattler. That's not even an overstatement. If anything, it's an understatement, and he did it to the media and the public. Okay, number one, I can't believe it happened, and number two, I can't believe he told people about it. Whoa, hold on. Before we go any farther, you know what today is? It's Christmas. I want to say real quick, I don't want to waste your time, but Merry Christmas. I am so beyond thankful for all the support and love. If you're subscribed to the channel, it means so much to me. I know what you're probably sitting there thinking, yo Matt, it's Christmas, spend it with your family. Why are you making a video? Well, you guys, you are my family, and I don't want that to be corny, but I hope you understand, each and every one of you, you mean so much to me, and the community we've built and are currently continue to build, it's amazing. I love college football. I love talking about it with you guys. I love when you tag me and stuff on Twitter and Instagram and so many more things. Thank you guys so much. I wouldn't want to spend my Christmas with anybody else. I hope you guys are excited to get into this video. Without further ado, let's get into it. Oh yeah, real quick, I forgot to mention, since it is Christmas and I'm giving y'all a video, the least you could do for me is hit that subscribe button. That's all I ask and that's all I want. Come on now, you're not going to be a Grinch and not subscribe on Christmas. It's the giving season. Go down there. If you're not subscribed, hit that button. And now, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, we all know the backstory by now. Spencer Rattler went to Oklahoma, was supposed to win the Heisman, be the #1 pick, blah, 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 blah. To make a long story short, he entered the transfer portal and he's now at South Carolina. When he made the decision to go to South Carolina, it wasn't a complete shock, but it sent some waves across the country. I think the best way to describe it, it's an interesting fit. Rattler's coming off of a wishy-washy season where he didn't live up to the expectations, and South Carolina, they're not that great of a team, or quite frankly, that great of a program. I firmly believe you got South Carolina who's in rebuild mode, and you can make the argument that Spencer Rattler is also in rebuild mode for his career. He's on a mission to prove everyone who doubted him wrong, and he's also trying to show these NFL scouts that he can play at the next level. How do I view the South Carolina and Spencer Rattler fit? I don't see what's wrong with it. I think it's just fine. Is he going to have the talent around him like Oklahoma? No, but at least at South Carolina, he's going to be guaranteed to start. He doesn't have a 5-star recruit or 4-star recruit on the bench waiting to take a spot like he did at Oklahoma. And for any quarterback at Oklahoma, there's so much pressure. Think about the great, and I don't even know if great's the right word, the elite quarterbacks that have been through there the past 5 to 6 seasons. You got Baker Mayfield, won the Heisman, Kyler Murray, won the Heisman, Jalen Hurts, who was in the conversation, Spencer Rattler, who was, he was up for the Heisman at one point, and now you got Caleb Williams, who was also up for the Heisman. At one point in time in all those players' career, they were the backup, so the starter had to go out there each and every week knowing that the backup could take his spot in any given moment. On the flip side, if you're the quarterback at South Carolina, there's not too much competition, and I mean that in the most respectful way. You don't hear about 4- and 5-star recruits going to South Carolina all the time like you do at Oklahoma. Now that I think about it, you always hear the phrase, oh, Alabama is running back university, or LSU is defensive back university, there's a wide receiver university, you know what I'm saying. Is Oklahoma QB University? I don't know who else could beat them out for that. I know what I'm about to say. A lot of you are going to say, yo, Matt, all you do is D-right Alabama and you're being biased. But I think Alabama has a legit case at being QBU as well. Look at Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones, and Tua, and Bryce Young's going to be in the NFL and he's going to be a starter. You're going to have 4 Alabama quarterbacks starting on NFL teams. In my humbled opinion, I think Alabama, they're in the conversation for everything. Wide receiver university, running back university, defensive back university, and quarterback university, and linebacker. They get all these 5-star recruits. Anyways, let me get back on topic. I'm getting a little sidetracked. We got to talk about Rattler and what this offensive coordinator said. In a recent interview, it was a couple of days ago, I can't even believe this happened. The offensive coordinator said when he was recruiting Spencer Rattler, quote unquote, everybody in the country thinks you stink as a quarterback. And he said that to Rattler's face. He also added, everybody in the country thinks I stink, so let's go at it with the biggest chips on our shoulders that we possibly can. Could you imagine being a 5-star recruit coming out of high school or transferring colleges like in this scenario, and somebody's recruiting you, they look you dead in your eyes and say, you stink. But not only that, the same guy recruiting you says, I also stink, so let's prove everybody wrong. I'm going to say it again. I can't believe he said that. And what's even more surreal about it, think about this, guys. It worked. The recruiting pitch to Rattler, it worked, and he went there. And I know some of you are like, yo, Matt, that didn't happen. If you don't want to take my word for it, Matt wrote a clip.
You know, when we started talking, I told him, I was like, everybody in the country thinks you stink as a quarterback, and everybody in the country thinks I stink. So let's go at it, and let's with the biggest chips on our shoulders that we possibly can get, and let's go attack this thing every single day.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And also, he wound up adding this, quote unquote, I think that I'm excited to get him here and excited to go to work. I think just the toughness and mindset that he has right now is so much different than what it was last year, going into that season when he was a Heisman Trophy candidate. I think he's got a toughness about him that nobody's seen to date and what he's going to be able to do. It doesn't stop there. Rattler's personal quarterback trainer, Mike Giovanni, spoke on it, and here's what he had to say. The lingo, the plays, the schemes, everything about what Coach Satterfield does is based on the highest level of NFL football. I think Spence thought that was important as well. He wanted to get into a scheme and in a system that's going to help him translate to the next level when he gets that opportunity. I do want to address that. That is a key piece we need to talk about. He's already mature enough to know he's more than likely going to get to the NFL, and he's thinking, you know what? Why not go to a college that has an NFL scheme? Much respect to Rattler doing that, and also much respect to going to a program that's really not that good, and he's going to have a lot of weight on his shoulders and a lot of pressure. I originally thought, and I've said, he's not going to have as much pressure on him at Oklahoma, but everybody in the country's wanting to see him fail and see what he does, so maybe he does have that much pressure. I can't speak for you. Let me know how you feel in the comment section, but I'm going to tune in to almost every South Carolina game to see how he's doing. In the past 9 to 10 years, you know how many South Carolina football games I watched? Probably 9 or 10. You know what I like to call this? The Spencer Rattler effect. In this next season, I'm going to watch more South Carolina games than I have in the previous 10 years combined. He's must-see TV for a different reason than what you think. Caleb Williams is must-see TV because he's electric and a great player. Rattler's must-see TV because he's polarizing and everybody wants him to fail. Hold on. I haven't even addressed the coach saying that everybody thinks Spencer Rattler stinks. Let's talk about that and why I beg to differ. If I told you there was a Division I quarterback who's thrown for over 4,500 yards, has over a 70% completion percentage, has 40 touchdowns to only 12 interceptions, would you say he stinks? I don't think so. Those numbers I read off are Rattler's career numbers. He has over a 70% completion percentage in over 2 years. When talking about Rattler, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. You can't let the numbers fool you. He doesn't look as good as those numbers appear. He doesn't stretch the field. He's had some costly fumbles and also some costly interceptions. I could go on and talk about why it didn't work out in Oklahoma. I'm going to leave it at this. It wasn't a great fit. Rattler in Oklahoma, it simply didn't work out. Let's take it a step even farther from that interview. That offensive coordinator claimed everyone says he stinks, right? Last year, South Carolina, they finished 6-6, and you know I don't sugarcoat things on this channel. They were bad. Yo, Matt, they finished 6-6. That's 500. That's mediocre, right? No. Look, I'm sorry. I can't give you those cupcake wins against Troy and Eastern Illinois, and you barely beat Vanderbilt by 1 point, and that's the sorriest team in the SEC. How I evaluate these teams is based off of their real record in their conference. In the conference, South Carolina finished 3-5. With everything we've discussed and talked about in this video, it leaves us with one more thing. Can South Carolina compete next year and maybe the year after in the SEC East? They're not going to compete for an SEC championship. I'm already throwing that out the window. However, for my South Carolina fans, I'll offer you this. The SEC East is way weaker than the SEC West. There's no conversation. There's no debate. It's not even close. The SEC West is a powerhouse. I believe with Spencer Rattler, if he can live up to his hype and play like I know he can, they can compete for that second or third place spot in the East. They're not going to beat Georgia, and they're not going to win it. I'm sorry, I got to tell you the truth. There's no way they win the SEC East. Not even a chance. But if you take out Georgia, looking at every other team, I don't see why they can't beat them and why they wouldn't have a fair chance. Outside of Georgia, the SEC East is garbage, or at least it was garbage this year. If we take a look at the rankings, it was Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Missouri, South Carolina, Florida, and Vanderbilt. South Carolina can beat all these teams, and if you gotta ask me, Tennessee is better than Kentucky. Kentucky's way overhyped. I'm not a believer of Kentucky. I love the Cinderella story. They're not good. They're kind of like Arkansas. They were getting overhyped because they got a couple of early good wins. I have a video planned on Tennessee in the up and coming days. I am a believer, and I'm not going to say they're back, but they're on the come up. They are a team nobody wants to play. I got to give Josh Heupel a ton of credit. I love what he's doing with this program. If you're a Tennessee fan, you know, and I was keeping up with this in the offseason, they had over 20 guys transfer out because they thought this program was going to be left in the dust. For them to go 7-5 in this recent year, and don't let the scores against Bama and Georgia fool you. They were in those games until the fourth quarter. And I want to get this out there too. I am one of the last guys that would give Tennessee credit. I do not like them, and I do not like their fans either. They remind me of Texas fans. Every year they're like, oh, we're back, when in reality, they're not. I'm going to tell you right now, unless something crazy happens or I just have a terrible take on it, I think Tennessee, give them 3 to 4 years, they're going to be competing for SEC championships, at least in the East. The only two teams I'd say South Carolina has no chance against is the two teams I talked about, Georgia and Tennessee. In this current season, South Carolina, they finished, 5th in the division? I think next year, all their fans, you guys know, you're not expecting to win the championship, but you want to get better. I think if they can finish 3rd, that'd be great. I get it. You got the 5-star Spencer Rattler, but you got to just calm down a little bit. He's not going to change that program into a 11-1 or 10-2 team. The best case scenario, they'd be lucky to finish 7-3, maybe 8-4. And that's if Rattler plays good. If he doesn't perform well, it could be worse. I probably made a lot of SEC East fans mad, but I'm just telling you the truth. The West is far superior and the East is like the little cousin. Does Alabama carry the West? Sure, and I know that's going to be the argument, but Ole Miss was great this year. Arkansas was okay. Mississippi State was okay, and so is Texas A&M, and I know Auburn and LSU are bad, but if those are your worst two teams in your division, that's a good sign. I'm looking forward to see what Spencer does at South Carolina. Let me know your thoughts on what that coach said. I found that interesting. With all that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Hit that subscribe button for Santa Matt. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.